Hey there, fellow nature lovers. Today I'm diving into the world of weird eaters in the animal kingdom. You won't believe what some of these creatures munch on. Let's kick things off with the panda. You might think it's all about bamboo, right? Well, despite their classification as carnivores, these furry giants are almost entirely herbivorous, chomping down on bamboo for about 99% of their diet. That's dedication to greens. Moving on, have you ever heard of the bone-eating snot flower worm? Yes, it's real. Found deep in the ocean, these worms feast on the bones of dead whales. They use special acids to dissolve the bones and extract the nutrients. How's that for a spooky meal? Next, let's take a wing over to the vampire bat. This little creature prefers a liquid diet. Blood! They have heat sensors to locate veins in their prey, and their saliva even contains an anticoagulant to keep the blood flowing. Talk about a bite with a twist. Pause. Now for a crunchy treat. The kakapo. This rare parrot from New Zealand has a taste for the bizarre. It eats the roots and leaves of certain plants, but during the breeding season it switches to chewing on the bark and wood. It's like going from salad to steak, but for birds. Pause. Here's a switch to the aquatic. The hagfish. This slippery sea creature goes for a meal inside out. It burrows into the carcasses of dead sea animals and eats its way out. Totally gross, but fascinating. And who can forget the koala? These adorable creatures munch on eucalyptus leaves, which are toxic to most animals. Koalas have a special digestive system that neutralizes the toxins, turning a poisonous meal into a delightful dinner. Pause. Now, let's buzz over to a tiny marvel. The hummingbird hawk moth. It mimics a hummingbird and feeds on nectar from flowers. The twist? It's active during the day and even hovers like its namesake, making it a unique sight in the moth world. Pause. Next up, the camel. It doesn't just store water in its humps, but also has a diet of thorny plants that most animals avoid. Their mouths are tough enough to handle the spiky meals, showing that sometimes the rougher, the better. Pause. Ever heard of the detritivores? Earthworms, for instance, they aren't picky eaters at all. They consume dead organic material, breaking it down into soil and playing a crucial role in our ecosystem. Lastly, let's talk about the Antarctic krill. These tiny creatures have a massive impact, forming the base of the ecosystem in Antarctic waters. They feed on phytoplankton and in turn support nearly every animal in their environment, from fish to whales. There you have it, 10 animals with some of the most bizarre diets in the wild. Nature sure has a way of keeping things interesting, doesn't it? Thanks for joining me on this wild culinary tour. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.